Hello, today we have Julie Mathers from Flora and Fauna, an Australian-based eco-ethical e-commerce company. Let's see if I can get that all out. She is built from the ground up. It's very successful, and so Julie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, an absolute pleasure to be here.
So we want to hear all the things, but let's get started with what I love about your business is totally self-funded, right? You guys you bootstrapped it and did it. So how do you build a self-funded business and still stay true to your ethics?
Yeah, so when we started Flora and Fauna, and when I came up with the idea of Flora and Fauna, I think it was really handy that I'd already worked in retail for a very long time.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of experience under my belt, and I guess some of the early things that could maybe trip you up didn't do so in our case, but also I could build out a really strong business plan. I think one of the key things that I advise anyone to do is to know your brand, know your ethics, know your values, and get that sort of set at the start.
Okay.
And once you've got that, you know how much money you need to invest to get it going. And that's kind of where we started. And I had to put in a bit of cash to get started, but nothing crazy that you would get from VCs.
You didn't start off with 50 million?
No. If I started off with 50 million, I probably wouldn't have started.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm good. This is great. Yeah, sometimes I do read about these investors and you're like, what do they do with all that money? Because I'm so used to bootstrapping everything.
That's it. And I think when you bootstrap it, certainly from my perspective, it's make us work smarter because every cent counts.
Right.
So we look at the ROI on everything, and we are analysing everything and making sure that every dollar is working for us in some way. And that really helped us get going. And it's, as with most things, it's a slow start. And then when you get going, you're investing all that money back in. And we've actually only recently started paying ourselves salaries.
That's another big tip that we've heard from many of the people we've interviewed is that, when you go into a startup, you have to go in knowing that you're not necessarily taking a paycheck, you're not taking a vacation, you're
Christmas, forget it.
Right.
You work Christmas Day, Yeah, absolutely. We're 3 years old now, and literally recently, we made the very informed choice at the start that we know when we are going to start paying ourselves salaries and when we're not. And actually, we're a little bit ahead of where we thought we would.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
But it has taken us to get to that point, but it was an informed decision. You're not going to start your business and go, right, I'm going to earn that same corporate salary I earned from day one, because it just doesn't, maybe you can, but you certainly can't grow at the rate you need to grow at.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like if you, especially any inventory-based business where you need stuff to sell, you have to buy more of it. So, and especially if you're trying to expand a line, even if your one thing does really well, then you need to add a second thing and a third thing and a 10th thing. And so every new thing, you've got to pay for it. So that there goes your capital. So you can still be growing, but you're not necessarily buying your yacht.
Yes. No, the yacht's on hold for now.
Yes. So, I think one of the challenges when you're doing this, you have days when you're so passionate and you're like, this is the right thing. And then there's other days when you're like, I just want a paycheck. I just want some money. What am I doing here? Do you have that? How do you deal with that?
Oh, yeah. We have real highs. I wouldn't say lows, just highs and and it's when it's your business, you're so involved in it, and so it doesn't feel like work. What I do doesn't feel like work. I'm creating something, and because of our ethics and values, we're on a bit of a different mission. And so when things are going really well, it's the biggest euphoria that you can possibly have. I mean, the best years of my life have been the last 3. But equally, particularly when you're a smaller business and you're growing, your sales do this.
Right.
And so if they do that, you're thinking, what's wrong? What's wrong?
The end is nigh.
The end is nigh.
Yeah.
It's a fraud. I'm not going to be around tomorrow.
Right.
And of course the next day it'll be there again. So you have to look at, I suppose, the bigger picture about it, and you have to be quite pragmatic, and also, very importantly, not knee-jerk react to things. So when those lows happen, don't react. I've worked in plenty of businesses that are very reactive, and if there's a low, they'll go, right, we must discount. You just think back to your brand, think back to your values and what you're about, and stay true to that. And I think that's been our best guiding principle, so that we keep clear on our strategy. It's so important to have your strategy, and we try not to ebb and flow as a business. We may ebb and flow a little bit personally, but not as a business.
So how do you have any tips for maintaining that focus when times are tough?
Yeah, I think think about your successes. That's really important, and think about what you're actually trying to do. So, and also just take some time out. So, something I did the other week, which was probably one of the best things I've done for a while, and it was a little bit forced on me, but that was a good thing. I went to a spa for the day. And it was an outside spa. It was beautiful. It was rocks and blah 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 and all this kind of stuff.
Sounds
springs
great.
and things. It was amazing. It was amazing. And anyway, they take your phone off you at the entrance, and they go, "Give us your phone." I'm like, no. And I, as most people do, just have that thing attached to me. And I had to go 8 hours without it throughout the day, so I had no idea what was happening in the business and what customers were saying and so on and so forth. But it was the best 8 hours, because I also had nothing else. Someone said to me, "Oh, did you have a notebook?" No, I had nothing. I literally had myself in my bikini. That was it, and my thoughts. And it was great because I was sort of inspired a little bit. It gave me a great opportunity to think and to reflect. So I think if you're having a little bit of a down point at any point, try and take yourself out of the situation you're in and go and get yourself some inspiration. That could be, and that varies for everybody, so it could be going and do some reading, or doing what I did, or going on a run, or whatever it may be.
Right.
To just help you deal with the situation that you're in. That's probably one of the best things, because as with all businesses, you don't... it's not all plain sailing by any stretch.
Right. And so have practices that work for you. Sort of, I think having some daily practices, and then also having those occasional practices.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that's great advice, because it is easy when you're having a bad moment to just, like my husband always tells me to get out of my head, it's a bad neighborhood. And I get trapped in there. And so to go do something, step away, get in a positive space, and then you can get so much more accomplished than if you'd spent that same amount of time.
Yeah. And try and get plenty of sleep. I fail to do that.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I fail to do it. But when I do it, I just think, oh, that's so good.
Yes. It's like sometimes it's like the days when I get enough sleep and then I take a shower first thing, it almost feels like I went to the spa. It's like the same feeling of awesomeness. So yes, take care of yourself. So that's great advice. So now your company though is very focused on ethics. Now Flora and Fauna started as sort of a cosmetics and body care product, although I understand you're expanding.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your ethics and your commitment.
Yeah, so we're an eco-ethical retailer, and we are 100% vegan and 100% cruelty-free. So everything we sell is vegan and cruelty-free. I personally am incredibly passionate about the environment and what we do to our planet. And I really wanted to develop a retailer that was best in class at that and at responsible retailing, but also just at retailing. Just an amazing retailer.
Yeah.
That can be nimble and do things quickly and kind of do everything that corporates and big retailers are, some are doing it really well, but a lot of big retailers are not doing. So we set out at the start with some key ethics and values about being authentic, transparent, loving our customer to the point where if we think something, we will tell the customer the truth at all costs, even if it means they don't shop with us.
Right.
Because they may come back in the future and shop with us. But if we can't meet their needs, then there's no point in trying to sell them a dud.
Sure.
And making responsible decisions. And those kind of four key values to us have kind of stayed with us from the start. So we only sell vegan and cruelty-free products, and that's very important, but also we have a huge focus on the environment. And as a retailer, I believe that we have a great responsibility to being a bit of a closed loop and to have as minimal impact as possible. So I don't want to be just throwing things out there into the stratosphere and going, see you later. We have a responsibility to offer great products and also to deal with the waste that comes from that. So we have lots of recycling initiatives that go on.
Right.
And we've built our business, and we're constantly developing the business around different initiatives.
But I love what you said. You said kind of two really important things, I think. One of them is, your values.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, because I've seen this with organic and natural and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, please buy from us, we're organic. And you almost feel like you're giving charity. Whereas you're like, no, we're vegan, we're cruelty-free, but we're also exceptional in customer service and product development, the product we provide, the shopping experience. And so you're bringing a level of exceptionalism to the business and not just, so yes, the ethics and also yes, the business.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think this is where, because I know exactly the businesses that you were talking about.
Please buy from me, I'm organic, and you're like, okay, that's fine, but it doesn't feel as...
It's you, as a customer, that's great if you're buying a product like that, but you still want to get it quickly. You still want a great experience. You still, you want an amazing experience as a retailer. So with I suppose my history of retailing, I've known what's been really good over the years and also what hasn't been good. So we ship everything same or next day, depending on the time you order it. We put a handwritten note in every order.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And we send several thousand orders a week now.
Wow.
And we have been scoffed at by...
do you handwrite, or just somebody on the team?
Yeah, we've got a team of packers now, so...
And they all handwrite it?
They all handwrite. And we don't tell them what to write. It's kind of like... It's not formulaic. So some of them will write mini essays, others will write... they'll see that a parcel's going off to, say Las Vegas. And they'll go, yeah, I went there 4 years ago, I hope you love this part. And it's very personal. So... but we empower the team to do what they want. And yet we still manage to ship 16 orders per person per hour, which is great for what we do, which when we're putting multiple products into a parcel, it's certainly not Amazon standards at all.
So that's another, almost coming back to our original point of yes, the ethics, but also yes, the business. So you're saying, okay, look, we need to set a reasonable order fulfillment rate per person.
Yeah.
That has to happen. That's the business. But yes, the ethics, handwritten note, write what you want, but you still have to do this other thing too. So you're focusing on both things. I think that's a great strategy.
And we measure. So every initiative that we do, it has to be done with a purpose and a measurement.
Okay.
So for example, the handwritten note, well, what are we seeing out of that? Our retention is amazing. And people are talking about it and sharing.
Do they like social media? Look at the note I got.
Constantly, multiple times a day. And it's not about great prices. It's about you have touched me emotionally, and I've had a beautiful experience with you.
Wow.
And you can't buy that stuff.
There's the authentic, because I think sometimes companies try to manufacture authenticity.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, we're gonna have the business. This is really authentic.
Yeah.
And so people know. They know when you're being truly authentic versus this manufactured authenticity.
Yeah. It's at our core, and it's at my core. You know, I'm the kind of person where I go around and I go on a walk and I pick up rubbish.
Right.
Because I genuinely care about our planet. It helps. I'm vegan myself, so it's coming from in here, and we recruit people in the team where it comes who are similar.
Right.
So everyone is very passionate about the business. So it's because I've seen people trying to manufacture it, going, oh yes, we sell these products, and it's, you know, we have a recycling initiative. Yeah, but the rest of your business is not particularly responsible. So you have to think about it at every step of your journey, and overlay the fact that you are running a business, and it's got to be profitable.
It's got to be profitable.
It's got to be profitable.
Yeah.
You need to keep in business.
So let me ask you this. So tell me about a time when you made a terrible mistake or something went disastrously wrong, and you ended up learning from it. Like, what would you say?
I think there've been lots of things where we've taken a position and then we've gone, oh no, let's move that way, let's move that way, let's move that way. So, but there is one thing where I've gone, that was a terrible. Actually, there's two things where there were terrible mistakes, but that stick in my mind. But probably the biggest mistake is and a real great advice to people. We hired early doors an SEO company. And I should know this, having worked in retail for a very long time, but they really were completely unethical. So we had lots of links coming to our site that were absolutely dodgy, and it really harmed our Google rating for a while. And it was a really sticky position for us, a hugely sticky position. So we learned from it. We got horribly burnt, and needless to say, we didn't stick with that company for very long.
They're not with you.
Yeah, but I just think I think be really careful when you bring an agency on board. If you're using somebody, and I think they are incredibly valuable, and we now use a different agency for SEO, and someone helps us with SEM and so on and so forth. But if you're bringing somebody on board, absolutely check their credentials, get reference checks. And what I do now is, because they will give you their own references, that's lovely, but I go and search out my own references for them and contact businesses myself that use them, and go and do your research properly before you bring anyone on board, and don't get swept away in the sales talk. That's my biggest learning.
Take the time, if you're going to invest in a provider, invest your time up front to really get their credentials verified. Yeah.
Don't make those knee-jerk reactions because you're in a panic. Just, it will be well worth it in the long run. And I've done this very recently with someone, and I've also been very transparent and straight up with the providers along the process. So we can have a relationship in the future, potentially.
Right.
So it's kind of just hey, look, this is just the decision we've made now, this is where we are, and here's the reasons I've made it, because it's a small world and relationships are key. But I've done this recently, and I did take the time. Really glad I did. Really glad I did. We've got somebody on board who's amazing.
That's great. So are there any tools that you would say have been indispensable to you?
Yeah, definitely. So we use... the key one that we use a lot is something called Sprout Social.
Okay.
And it's a social tool, effectively, and it pulls all of your comments, you can schedule from it on social media. It pulls all of your comments and reviews and everything else into one spot.
Oh, okay. So like from your website,
Instagram,
Facebook, Instagram.
Everything into one go. And so you've effectively got a workflow. That has been really helpful to us because... So
is it a scheduler or it is tracker?
It's both.
Oh, okay.
So you can schedule your posts and everything else. We actually don't use it for scheduling. I use Plannerly for scheduling.
Okay.
But the important thing I use it for is to be able to respond to comments. So nothing is missed. Because people will comment on posts from 6 months ago, you're never going to find them in the Facebook page app. It's not a great tool for commenting. It probably is if you've got about 500 followers and you're getting 4 comments a day, but not when you're at the rate that we're at now.
Right.
We put a post up last night that has had about 200 shares.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all nothing,
organic.
Organic. And we've had about 700 likes on it in the last 10 hours.
Wow.
And a lot of comments. You need something to help you.
And so can you, in this thing, you can actually respond in there and then it posts it to the original place?
It does. That has saved us hours and has also meant that we're not missing anything from customers. And we respond to everything to our customers. We read absolutely everything.
So that's a great tip. It's easy to respond to customers when they directly contact you, right?
Yeah.
And there are many companies who don't even do that.
Yes.
But now the breadth of places that people can communicate about you and your business is massive. So take the time, invest in the tool to be able to respond to all those different places. And what's the name of that again?
Sprout Social.
Sprout Social.
And I think it's something like $50 a month.
Okay.
Totally worth it.
Okay. All right. Great. No affiliation there. Just a good.
No. I don't get a fee.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.
I stare and stumble into